El Salvador is rolling out its red carpet for investors and innovators. President Nayib Bukele has been quite open about his desire to attract top talent and investment into the country, and is offering quite a bit of interesting incentives to those who want to contribute to the country's economy and call it their home for the long run. So whether you are a qualified professional or a Bitcoin investor, El Salvador can be a quite attractive option for you. So today, we're going to talk about El Salvador's forward-thinking immigration policies. We're going to tell you everything you need to know about their Freedom Passport and how you as an investor can take the most advantage of your Salvadorian passport. So if you're a highly qualified professional or a Bitcoin investor, then this video is for you. Hi, my name is Natalia Rincon, and I am a Research and Development Associate at Nomad Capitalist. At Nomad Capitalist, we help our clients get second residence, second citizenship, and we provide holistic advice as to how to optimize your taxes, your investment, and your banking globally. So El Salvador can definitely be deemed as a country who has made a lot of progressive stances on Bitcoin investments especially. If you're a Bitcoin investor, they have a lot of immigration policies that could be attractive to you. For you, as a nomad capitalist coming from a high-tax Western country that often puts more and more restrictions to your business, especially if you do business through Bitcoin, El Salvador can definitely offer some relief to you as a person and to you as a Bitcoin investor. For instance, El Salvador's passport may not have the same level of global recognition as other countries, but still, it can offer you visa-free access to over 101 countries. This includes most of the Schengen area, South America, as well as Hong Kong, the UAE, and Japan. Granted, it will not give you visa-free access to, say, the US, Canada, or the UK, but it's still a pretty strong passport, and it can offer visa-free access to many countries. For example, if you compare it to a traditional Caribbean citizenship by investment country, the passport can be much stronger, and El Salvador is a much widely recognized country than, say, St. Kitts or Dominica, for example. On that same note, if you're looking for that Central Caribbean passport that will give you the freedom to spend as much time as you want in the country, you will also get an ease of doing business in El Salvador. For instance, you will get access to a stronger banking system, less bureaucracy when it comes to running your business, and since it is located in the mainland, you will have a lot more ease of access to international connecting flights, better infrastructure and commodities overall, and most importantly, very interesting tax incentives when it comes to local taxation. Now, in terms of security, the government has been quite radical in enforcing its security policies in order to guarantee that every citizen or every person who spends their day-to-day life in El Salvador can feel pretty safe. And this has translated into many Salvadorians who left the country years ago due to security reasons to come back into the country, because overall it can offer a great quality of life. Now, with all of this said, what are these policies that the government is enforcing? Well, first, before we dive into all of these options, I will clear out some of the misinformation that is going around. There is no residence or citizenship from investing through Bitcoin only. This was a proposal that had been going around and it had been discussed, but at the time of filming this video, it is not something that is in place and it will not work if you want to obtain a Salvadorian citizenship. Instead, what the government has put out is the so-called Freedom Passport. So the Freedom Passport was introduced as part of the much broader Adopting El Salvador program, and it is directed to those who can invest $1 million worth of Bitcoin or USDT in the approved government wallet called Chivo Wallet. This will give you streamlined access to a Salvadorian passport. Now, it is called a citizenship by investment, but it is really a citizenship by donation. And I'm saying this because once you donate the $1 million worth of Bitcoin, you will not get any sort of return of investment from that $1 million other than your Salvadorian passport. Now, because you are donating $1 million worth of Bitcoin, you can definitely get access to a much expedited processing of your passport. Some applicants have gotten the passport in as quickly as 3 to 4 months. So where's your investment actually going? If you're expecting some sort of financial return for yourself, this is not going to be the case. But instead, the government will invest all of these funds in its economic growth, development, and infrastructure. So the more time you spend in El Salvador, you will see the return in a greater quality of lifestyle for you and your family. So while this route can offer faster processing to get a Salvadorian passport, there's still all the administrative and due diligence processes in place. So it is not only about making the financial donation. There are many other aspects that you need to take into consideration in order to get a successful application. For example, timing your application is very important because the government only offers 1,000 slots per year. Also, you need to ensure that the donation is properly made and that the funds are properly deposited into El Salvador's wallet. So once you've made your donation, navigating the due diligence and administrative processes with the Salvadorian administration can be tough and can definitely be facilitated with proper counseling. Because keep in mind, once you make your financial donation, it will not be refundable. If your application is successful, the benefits can be enormous, especially if you are a Bitcoin holder. This is because Bitcoin was recognized as legal tender, so it has the absolute freedom to fulfill any sort of financial obligations. You can even file your tax return in Bitcoin if you need. Furthermore, Bitcoin is not subjected to any sort of capital gains tax derived from the utilities that you will get from the increase of value of Bitcoin. And what this allows is for the deposits that you make in a Salvadorian bank account to not be subjected to any sort of capital gains tax because of the exchange rate. Now, what about Volcano Bonds? I'm sure if you have done some research on El Salvadorian economy, maybe you have come across this concept. So what are they? Well, the Volcano Bonds are government-issued bonds. They are said to have a value of $100,000 and a 10-year maturity period, which will offer you a stake in the development of Bitcoin City and the development of the country's geothermal energy projects. So at this point, you may be thinking, okay, then I am not going to go for the Freedom Visa. Instead, I am going to purchase a government bond. Well, I am here to tell you that as of 2024, the Volcano Bonds have been approved by the government, but they are not yet implemented nor in place. We're definitely closely following these sorts of developments, but so far this is an initiative that has not made it across the finish line. So we already talked about the Freedom Passport, and this is like the main development for Bitcoin investors. But what are other ways that you can get a Salvadorian passport? I mean, on one hand, El Salvador is offering 5,000 passports to highly skilled and qualified professionals. So if you're a scientist, an engineer, philosopher, a doctor, or an artist that comes from abroad, El Salvador has a place for you, and there's a way that you can get a Salvadorian passport through your skill set and professional experience. Then you have the regular naturalization path, which of course involves obtaining residence first. So if you're from Spain or from a Latin American country, you can become eligible to apply for a Salvadorian passport after only 1 year of residence. Whereas if you're from any other country in the world, you need to have resided in El Salvador for at least 5 years before you become eligible for a Salvadorian passport. Either way, whether you're a Spanish citizen, a Latin American citizen, or a citizen of any other part of the world, in order to qualify for El Salvadorian citizenship through naturalization, you need to be physically present in the country for at least 8 months during each year of residence preceding to your citizenship application. This means you cannot stay outside of El Salvador for 3 continuous months or a total of 4 months within a given year. So if you're an investor, an innovator, or you merely believe that El Salvador has potential for growth, sign up to become our Nomad Capitalist client today and see how we can help you navigate through all of the processes on all the different residence and citizenship options that there are and see how we can help you go where you're treated best.